way to live with this mess, because otherwise it's going to run you the hell over. I let it do that to me for a long time. Don't do that to yourself. Big, huge, huge part of your health. And if you're dealing with health issues, I really recommend you start talking to your doctor about your gut health. Leaky gut it's a serious issue, and honestly, it's not something I talk about often, but it plays a very significant role in my health issues. I was talking to a friend today, and I was like, well, this doesn't work right, and that doesn't work right, and it was just, I'm so used to it, I don't think anything of it, but sometimes I'll hear myself, and it's like, holy crap, who lives like this? Well, I do, because I don't have any choice. This is the hand I've been dealt. So I got to make the best of it. But gut health is so important, and I have been terrible about paying attention to it lately. By the way, this information is from parsleyhealth.com. I don't know why that name tickled me so much, but it did. So leaky gut, what is it? Well, it's literally exactly what it sounds like. Our gut wall is only one cell thick. Isn't that crazy? It's joined by proteins. That's the barrier. Just one cell thick. That's the barrier between your intestinal tract and your bloodstream and the food that you're consuming. Well, not just the food, whatever else you're consuming, medications, which, by the way, probably have contributed to your gut health problems. Chronic stress. Hello, that's my big problem. Junk food. I still like a lot of junk food, I'll be honest, but I used to be a terrible junk food junkie. Bacterial infections. Autoimmune English is my first language. Disorders. Because you can have a disorder and not have a disease. Apparently, I don't know anything about that, I'll be real honest. But chronic stress, the junk food, bacterial infections, antibiotics, and autoimmune disorders, they can break down the proteins that join those single cells together and that keep everything working like it's supposed to. And it kind of sounds like a ridiculously fragile system, but it has to be in order to do its job. Think of your gut lining like a pair of nylons, and they're supposed to have nice tight junctures, right? You shouldn't be able to see much. I mean, yes, if you hold it up to the light, you can see through it, but you shouldn't be able to just look right through it. Whereas if you have leaky gut, instead of a pair of nylons, you now got a pair of fishnets. Now, if that's your thing, ain't nothing wrong with a pair of fishnets, but that's not what you want for your gut lining. This is horrifyingly problematic. Some of the symptoms of leaky gut: inflammation, severe, widespread inflammation, because your immune system is not designed to handle things leaking out of your gut into your body. That overloads your immune system. That leads to chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation leads to acne, eczema, food sensitivities, hormone imbalances. Spoonies, are you listening? Pain, brain fog, insomnia. Any of that sounding a little familiar yet? Chronic inflammation also leads to a lot of autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, and Hashimoto's. I have Hashimoto's. My mom had RA. Horribly. Leaky gut is really pretty common, but it's overlooked, so the exact numbers are not readily available. So what causes it? Well, chronic stress, poor diet, sugar, dairy, gluten. Damn it. But you got to give up gluten. Processed meats, soy. Soy also can be very estrogenic in Caucasians. So you really want to keep an eye on it. I'm not telling you not to eat it. I'm just telling you to be aware. Booze is bad for your gut. Chronic stress, guilty. Chronic stress leads to a weakened immune system. It can contribute to leaky gut, seriously. Toxin overload, antibiotics, pesticides. Are you eating organic food? I'm not. I'll be real honest with that. I don't, because I will go to the farmer's market in the summer and buy local stuff, but usually in the wintertime, when the organic produce gets here, I mean, when I pick up the celery and it kind of, I'm not buying that. I'm sure as hell not paying the price for organic produce to buy that. But it matters because all those pesticides do get into your system. Aspirin and NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, I think is what the D stands for, but it's like ibuprofen, naproxen. Those are terrible for your gut, which, by the way, leaves you in a really crappy position if you need something, because Tylenol destroys your liver and ibuprofen destroys your gut. So what do? Just dysbiosis, which is honestly a word I just like to say because I think it's fun, but that's a gut biome imbalance. That means you don't have enough healthy bacteria in your gut. You've got too much unhealthy bacteria. And obviously that's a problem. Well, how do you fix it? Avoid toxins whenever possible. Try to stay off the ibuprofen. Damn it. Tap water. I should probably do better water than I do, but I at least filter it. I get I think it's a Brita filter. Pesticides, again, organic. And you should eat organic meat as well, because you're eating what your food ate, right? I wish I liked game better, because most people get a moose that fills their freezer more than enough. So people are really generous with me, and I have a lot of moose meat, but I usually just take it to a friend of mine and have them grind it into burger, because I really like the burger, damn it. But boy, that'd be the perfect organic meat. But how do you fix it? Avoid the toxins. You got to reduce your stress. That is like the last couple of, I'd say the last week or so, I've decided that has to be my main focus right now, is reducing my stress, because every single one of my health issues is stress driven. Okay, not my eyes. Ha! I got something that's not stress driven, but generally speaking, stress drives a lot of my issues. So how do you reduce your stress? Keep a journal. I like to journal at night, because I can get, maybe it wasn't the best day. I can get all that frustration off my chest and out of my head, so that I don't lay there in bed and just stew and ruminate. You know how you do. That's so silly. It doesn't solve anything. It just disrupts your sleep. But if you write about it and get it off your chest, it's really beneficial. My personal recommendation is, if you're going to do that at night, maybe you had a really crap day, and so you're just like this word vomit all over your page, and this sucks and that sucks, and Betty from accounting is such a bitch, and I hate this person. Now for me, yes, it does feel good to get that off my chest, and yes, it does. That alone will do a lot to help me sleep. But now that it's off my chest, it's also kind of fresher in my mind, so I'd like to personally reset my brain. And if I have a really unhappy, unpleasant journal entry, I finish it with 3 things that I'm grateful for, because that helps my brain shift gears from the negative to the positive. And it makes it a lot easier for me to go to sleep at night. But, that's just my thing. It might not work for you. Meditation. Meditation is so damn good for me, and I know it is, and it's the first thing to go. It really is. But a friend of mine had loaned me a red light therapy unit, red light therapy. I don't know what the hell she calls it, but it's got a timer. You can only do it, you're only supposed to do 20 minutes. So I was like, I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes. So I meditated, and I'm like, holy crap, if this thing works, that's going to be so cool. If I can do 2 things that are really good for my body at once, I will be a very happy girl. But meditation is so important, because you've got to learn. Stress is a huge factor in I'd say most health issues today. You got to learn how to quiet your mind. You've got to learn how to focus. Meditation will teach you both of those things. Prayer is so good for you. It's really good. And I'm not very good at it. I'm still pretty new at that. And sometimes it's uncomfortable for me, but man, once in a while, I'll just get on a flow. And it's nice, because it lets me speak what's in my heart and what's on my mind. And I'm speaking it to someone who's not going to judge me, and who's not going to use that information against me at a later date. I know it's a horrifyingly negative outlook on people, but that's just where I'm at. But prayer is really good for you. And you know what else you need to do? You need to do something that's just fun, at least once a week. Now, I am super fortunate, because I love to dance, and I dance every damn morning. Well, not every morning. I take a day off because my body needs it, but I dance minimum 5 days a week. And why do I do it? Even on like this morning when I had to drag my ass through it, I do it because it makes me happy. I do it because it gives me a sense of control over my situation. But really, it makes me happy. I belly dance. I have this cute, I have actually 2 little coin scarves. And when your hips are you're doing like hip drops or shimmying and you hear all those little jingles, it's just a cheerful, I'm sorry, it's impossible to be frowning while you're shimmying. It just is, at least in my experience. And finally, to reduce stress, you've got to immerse yourself as much good grief, as much as possible in positivity. You have to get positive, uplifting people in your life. Now, I used to be a very negative person. Nobody positive is going to hang out with your ass if you're super grumpy. They're just not, because nobody wants you to be their Debbie Downer. But the cool thing about the internet is you can go out and find all kinds of positive influences. You don't need to know these people. Why do you need to know them? What difference does that make? Go get on YouTube. Go get on a podcast. Find somebody who you like their style, their overall message really resonates with you, and listen to something that you find uplifting for just 15 minutes every morning. That alone is going to go a long way towards reducing your stress. You can heal your leaky gut. I am really having a hard time talking tonight with diet. Now, if you have, I have extensive gut problems. My body's just it's kind of a mess. It's fixable, but it's kind of a mess. But if you really want to heal this up, it's going to take work. It's going to take a minimum of 3 months of being pretty damn restrictive and focused on your nutrition. You want to eat healthy fats like avocados, coconut oil, fatty fish. Ugh, I hate fish. Fruits and vegetables, but watch your nightshades. That's like tomatoes and peppers. Those can be very inflammatory in a lot of people. Grains can be really inflammatory. I recommend, if you're trying to figure out what gives your body a response, keep a food journal. As much as I hate keeping a food journal, keep a food journal. Because then, like, tomorrow morning you wake up and you feel like hell, you can look back and be like, oh, okay, I ate this. And then you can flip back through and go, oh, wow, the last time I ate that, I felt like crap the next day. So you need to eliminate that. Just because something is a widely accepted health food, that doesn't mean that your body wants it or likes it or tolerates it. So you might have to keep a journal. I need to get back on my autoimmune paleo eating. And AIP it's pretty restrictive. But the more I'm starting, because I decided the other day I need to learn a lot more about this than I know. And I started watching some YouTube videos. And I'm like, yeah, I really need to get back on my autoimmune paleo eating. It eliminates basically all known inflammatory agents. So no soy, no dairy, no gluten, no processed meats, no chocolate, no booze, no nuts, no seeds, no nightshades, no rice, no grains at all. Do you know how hard it is to go out to breakfast when you can't eat eggs, dairy, or grains? There was a local restaurant. Now, it wasn't the perfect AIP dish, but there's a local restaurant who used to make me, they called it the Courtney Special, and they would make me a big plate of spinach with chopped bacon and avocado slices and sauteed onions, and they had this great balsamic glaze they put over the top of it. It was so freaking good. And that was the dish that actually helped me transition to eating a lot of vegetables for breakfast, which I still kind of giggle about. I have a pot of autoimmune paleo broccoli cheese, and I looked away because it's not cheese, there's no dairy, but it's a cheese flavored soup. And I gotta be honest with you, it's amazingly good. When I first found the recipe, I'm like, no, we're not doing the fake cheese thing. But it kept popping up when I would do searches, so I was like, screw it, and I tried it. I love it. I love it. It is so good. It's broccoli and butternut squash and nutritional yeast and a little turmeric and some onion and garlic and all that. It's good. It's really good. My biggest bitch about autoimmune paleo is it's just, not only is it horrifyingly restricted, but it's time consuming because everything has got to be made from scratch. But You know what else is time consuming? Dealing with all this health crap. You need to have collagen in your diet. Collagen is going to, in addition to its multitude of other benefits, it helps rebuild your gut lining. You need to do a little more cardio because that oxygenates your body, and that oxygenation is very good for the healthy gut bacteria. And finally, sleep. You really, really, and I know it's hard, especially if you're dealing with pain. Believe me, I know it's hard. But you need to aim for 7 hours a night. Sleep deprivation, as we all know, it makes it hard for you to function. It makes it hard for you to focus, to get your stuff done during the day. It impacts your immune system. It impacts your heart health. One restless night drastically increases your carb cravings because it puts you in a state where it's not about your self-control. It's not about willpower. It's about hormones and trying to outdo your biology. And you know what? You are not going to outsmart Mother Nature. It just doesn't work that way. Chronic sleep deprivation leads to weight gain, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. We all need more sleep, though. I think we're a pretty chronically sleep-deprived society. But I will tell you, I went, trying to think of how many years ago it was. It's about 4 years ago. I was surviving. I don't know how the hell I did it. I really don't. I was surviving on like 4.5 hours of sleep a night. I was such a zombie. I stumbled through a really huge important project at work, and somehow, because God is kind, I really kicked ass at it. But I don't know how. I truly don't, because I was barely functional. I'm up to, I average right about 6 hours a night now. But I'll tell you what, when I get 7 or 8, it's really cool. It feels, I'm still tired because, of course, I've got a chronic sleep deprivation. Jumping Jehoshaphat, I can't talk today. I have chronic sleep issues. I'm chronically sleep deprived. So 1 or 2 good nights, unfortunately, doesn't solve my problem, but it's still pretty cool when I can get it. And I always know how good my quality of sleep is because of my handy dandy Fitbit. But anyway, that's all I have. It's not a very sexy topic, but you know, here's the thing. The human body, to me, is so amazing. It can do the most incredibly cool things. And you have one cell, a lining 1 cell thick, that runs so much of your body. I mean, your immune system, you had immune problems, it's your gut. It's your gut health. You've got to heal your gut. If you've got other chronic issues, I encourage you to have the conversation with your doctor about your gut health, because there's probably something going on there. But again, there's things you can do for yourself. And even if the doctor confirms it, guess what they're going to tell you to do? They're going to tell you to clean up your diet. So if you're really interested, I highly recommend you look at the autoimmune paleo diet. Now, I will be honest, it can be quite overwhelming initially. And a lot of food bloggers, damn it, they will tag something AIP. Now, I know I know what's allowed enough now that I can just quickly glance through not a recipe index, good grief, a list of ingredients. This is embarrassing. I can go through a list of ingredients and I can tell right away if it's AIP or not. But when I first started, it used to just frustrate the hell out of me that food bloggers would do that, because I would have a list and I would have to go back and forth from the recipe to the list, from the recipe to the list. But if AIP is something that sounds interesting to you and something you might want to get started with, drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. I try to be very responsive, and you know, I'm not getting any money from it, but I can help you wade through some of this quagmire, and I can point you in the direction of some websites that I have found really helpful, because like I said, a lot of food bloggers tag stuff as AIP and it's not. So you always got to pay attention. Anyway, that's all I have. I hope you all have a great night, and I will be back